Have you ever been to a cacao ceremony? Yes, cacao, not cocoa. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about it, and if you can join me in Romania, that would be great. Otherwise, maybe I will travel to your country one day. Hi, this is Liana, Holistic Intimacy Coach. Welcome back to my channel. Here, I help you get your orgasmic intimacy. Before we get into today's video, which is a delicious one, I want to remind you of the resources that I have here in case you can't make it to the cacao ceremony. First of all, get your orgasmic intimacy ebook. This one is on Kindle. You can download it on your cell phone, Kindle device. You can read it. You don't have to read it from cover to cover. You can go directly to the topic that interests you. There are coaching perspectives there, coaching exercises, as well as client anecdotes. Those will be of help. Secondly, there are the online programs designed especially around sexuality topics. And most of my programs are with practices, okay? Massage, intimate massage, women's practices, or somatic practices overall. And last but not least, I want to actually encourage you to join this one on Patreon. I'm facilitating daily somatic practices, sometimes around sexuality issues, sometimes just around general issues, mind frame, emotional disposition, energizing, and so on. And I do them basically on a daily basis. They are short, 18 to 15 minutes sometimes, and you can enjoy those wherever you go. It's just audio. Join those. That's where I am most of the time, on Patreon. Now, getting back to today's topic, the cacao ceremony. First of all, cacao is considered a sacred plant and a medicinal plant in South America. The Mayans, as far as we know, were the ones that officiated ceremonies with cacao, and they regarded it as a sacred plant as it helped people in their becoming better, more loving, more open, bringing love to oneself. Cacao is an aphrodisiac. It's also a psychoactive plant, so it basically gives you more energy, more enthusiasm, you're more present. But it wasn't used as a recreational food or beverage. It was actually used in ceremonies with particular purposes, officiated by a guide, trained, formed in their culture. Obviously, the most powerful ceremonies is where the plant grows because it is picked fresh, prepared fresh. So nothing will compare to that. Second to that is what everybody else on the planet can enjoy, meaning the plant that is imported. Most of the countries actually have cacao and chocolate, by the way. The beverage is definitely more intense than at least what I know that we used to do in my country. So in my country, we used to put 2 to 3 teaspoons of cacao powder in a mug of warmed milk. The ceremonial dose and the ceremonial recipe is totally different, so it's more intense. It is usually prepared from raw beans that have been ground, sometimes roasted beans also. Or it is prepared from cacao mass. The intensity of that is obviously not comparable to what you drink on a daily basis. It's really thick. It usually has a lot of other spices, ingredients to make it tasty. What I will say is that if you don't sweeten it even with anything natural, it's very bitter, like dark chocolate, bitter. But the effect is there nonetheless. So this depends on your taste. You want to sweeten it, not with sugar though. Totally not with sugar. Or do you want to drink it unsweetened? Another thing that you should know when you're attending a cacao ceremony, usually the person that invites you, therefore the person that officiates it, is announcing the purpose. So you usually drink and you perform a ceremonial drink, beverage, because there's a purpose. There's something that you want to work on. So it's not recreational, okay? Not that to say that there's something wrong with that. The purpose of a ceremony is for you to help you transform, work around something, or simply live an experience for your soul, to see what is possible for you, to enjoy, celebrate the things, the positive, good, beautiful things that you have, or to purge sometimes the sorrow, the emotions. Being an aphrodisiac, it works a lot with emotions, obviously. So whenever somebody officiates a cacao ceremony, they announce what it is for, whether it's a special moment in the calendar, whether there was an event that happened for the people that are going to attend. Sometimes groups of friends attend and they're celebrating something in particular, or simply people that don't know one another, but they resonate with the purpose of the ceremony. They meet there. It's one of the beautiful ways in which you can not only expand your networking or you're connecting with people that are thinking alike, feeling alike, have definitely mutual values. Not everybody will resonate with a ceremonial cacao. At least in the country that I'm from, Romania, Southeastern Europe, we do not have, it's not in our tradition. Cacao doesn't grow in our country. And obviously, cacao ceremonies are just not part of our culture. However, unless you have the opportunity to attend a ceremony in South America and have it officiated with the chants, because it's usually done at night, okay? It works better. There are chants, so you sing to it, you treat it as a sacred plant that has a spirit. This was the tradition of the Mayans. That's how you open up. That's how you bring yourself in a state of reverence, respect, sensitivity, emotional openness, and just openness from your heart, basically. That's why it's not for everybody. A lot of people just don't understand this. A lot of people understand the value or the state of party, relaxation, fun. Ceremony is a different thing. And in many cultures, I'm from the Orthodox religion, so Christian. The only place or times that we have ceremonies is when somebody gets married, when there's a baby shower or a baby baptism, when there's a funeral, maybe when there are other religious holidays, official religious holidays. So the priests, because priests were in a patriarchal culture, they officiate ceremonies. The attitude of ceremony is also that, but it can be brought to something more, not so pertaining to the Christian religion. Every culture has their sacred emotions, stages of life. A lot of times, at least in the Native American Indian traditions, they had ceremonies to mark every stage of your life, okay? Rite of passage. So we don't have that as often in our culture. So ceremonies can also do this. There is such a thing as your emotional life, and it has stages. Cacao ceremony is one of the ways, definitely not the only one. It's one of the ways in which you can mark certain stages, commencing or ending, whether it's important relationships, whether it's the relationship that you have with yourself. So there are many reasons for which you can officiate a cacao ceremony. There are some indications. First of all, it's important that you come on an empty stomach. From a very medical perspective, you don't want your stomach to be filled with food and it's still digesting that food. And then you pour cacao on it and it will just stay there. And if you've ever studied trophology, the science of combining foods, then you know that it's important to eat certain foods separate. Cacao and sweets is one of those foods. So you don't want it to sit on top of something else. So show up on an empty stomach. You drink the cacao, which is very thick, depending on how long it's been since it was warmed. Sometimes it can get as thick as a pudding and you can take it with a spoon or a teaspoon. Other times you can drink it. the idea is that it should be a bit thicker, so it's not exactly fluid like watery. Obviously, you drink water with it. It definitely helps here. You don't digest the cacao. It's already digested because it's a liquid. So it goes directly into your small intestine and then it gets absorbed into your body. So that's how you know that if you're on an empty stomach, that's how you know that you will feel the benefits right then and there. You will actually enjoy it. Otherwise, if you come with a full stomach, it can just fall heavy. That's how we say in Romania, it falls heavy in the stomach. And you don't enjoy it. You doze off. Maybe you move slow because your body's working really hard with everything that it has inside. So it's definitely important to consider this. Also, you don't consume cacao with other like beer, alcohol, drugs, tobacco. So tobacco, for instance, still in the Native American Indian tribes, it's also a sacred plant. And they don't consume it recreationally as we do nowadays. They consume it also in ceremonies. There is such a thing as the sacred pipe. You share the sacred pipe. So these things, they used to do them differently back in the days in those cultures. That's why when you adopt something, even if the person that officiates, so I was not raised in South America, I've never been there. I've been initiated, quote unquote, by somebody that was also initiated within ceremonies. So you can definitely put me in the category of a neo-cacao ceremony master. However, that's not to say that it's cheap, because I actually bring the coaching perspective to the cacao ceremony, meaning coaching, you look at yourself, you go within, and you work with intentions. This is also a way. I might not invoke the gods and everything, but I do invoke your heart, your psycho-emotional presence, and all of your body, because we also embody this. You usually dance, you have to move. Cacao, it activates you, so it's important that you move one way or another, okay? It's an aphrodisiac. You put two and two together, and there are many ways in which you can move it. But the ceremonial approach and the reverence, the respect, it's important that it be there. And in the case of the ceremonies that I officiate for women, we dance a bit so that we move it in our entire body. We start to really activate all of its ingredients and feel the benefits. And then we do women's practices, which are also important for your intimate life. I am an intimacy coach, so somatic intimacy coach. So we do work with the body, with pleasure, with embodying it, and simply rejoicing in our own presence. And no, it doesn't mean that it's something crazy or kinky. No, it means that it's from the heart, from your soul, and you're showing up in a beautiful space simply to enjoy, celebrate, expand the experiences that you know you can have, and just see what you can take away from it for yourself, how you can enrich the relationship with yourself as a woman, or what you can bring also in your intimate relationship with your partner. This is how I do it. Now, obviously, people will do this differently. Obviously, somebody who's doing the traditional cacao ceremony, so from South America, they will do it differently. And obviously, the plant is more potent there because it's in its environment. That being said, if you can join me, this upcoming ceremonial cacao, I'm gonna put the link below with more details. Otherwise, I hope to see you with other events, and I will definitely see you in the next video. Bye.